Good morning, students. I, myself, Dr. Vasantrao B. Kadam, Associate Professor, Department of Botany, KTHM College, Nasik. Students, today we are going to learn the chapter Photosynthesis, and today's topic is production of assimilatory powers, that means ATP and NADPH, through cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation. The photosynthetic process, the reactions of plant photosynthesis are divided into two parts. First, into those that require the presence of sunlight, that means they work in presence of sunlight, and second, those that do not, that means they do not require sunlight. Both types of reactions takes place in chloroplast. The complete process of photosynthesis is divided into two parts. First part is known as light dependent phase, and second part is known as light independent phase. The light dependent phase or light dependent reaction occurs in the thylakoid of chloroplast, and light independent reactions occurs in the stroma portion of the chloroplast. Students, in light dependent reactions, only and only formation of ATP and NADPH2 occurs, and now in light independent reactions, those ATP and NADPH molecules are synthesized during light dependent reactions, are utilized for the conversion of atmospheric CO2 enter into the lip through open stomata, and it is converted into carbohydrates, that means various kinds of sugars. Process of light dependent reactions. Light dependent reactions which takes place in photosystem first and photosystem second convert solar energy or radiant energy or sunlight into NADPH and ATP by cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation. The complete process of light dependent reaction is divided into two parts. One is cyclic photophosphorylation and second one is non-cyclic photophosphorylation. During both cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation, the energy molecules are synthesized, that means ATP during cyclic photophosphorylation and ATP and NADPH during non-cyclic photophosphorylation. How light dependent reaction work? The overall function of light dependent reactions. The first stage of photosynthesis is the convert solar energy into chemical energy in the form of NADPH and ATP, which are used in light independent reactions and fuel the assembly of sugar molecules. protein complexes and pigment molecules work together to produce NADPH and ATP. Producing chemical energy. Light energy is converted into chemical energy in a multi-protein complex called a photosystem. Two types of photosystems. Photosystem first, its reaction center is P6 700, and photosystem second, its reaction center is P680, are found in the thylakoid membrane inside the chloroplast. Each photosystem consists of multiple antenna proteins that contain a mixture of 300 to 400 chlorophyll A and chlorophyll B molecules, as well as other pigments like carotenoids. Cytochrome B6F complex and ATP synthetase are also major protein complexes in the thylakoid membrane that work with the photosystems to create ATP and NADPH. The two photosystems absorb light energy through proteins containing pigments such as chlorophyll. The light dependent reactions begins in photosystem second. In photosystem second, energy from sunlight is used to split water, which releases 2 electrons, 2 hydrogen atoms and 1 oxygen atom. When a chlorophyll A molecule within the reaction center of pigment system second absorbs a photon, that means light energy, the electron in this molecule attains a higher energy level because the state of an electron is very unstable. The electron is transferred to another molecule, creating a chain of redox reactions called an electron transport chain or electron transport system. The electron flow goes from photosystem second to cytochrome B6F to photosystem first. As electrons move between these two photosystems, they lose energy because the electrons have lost energy prior to their arrival at pigment system first. They must be re-energized by pigment system first. Therefore, another photon is absorbed by the pigment system first antenna complex. That energy is transmitted to the pigment system first reaction center. This reaction center, known as P700, is oxidized and sends a high energy electron to reduce NADP to NADPH. This process illustrates oxygenic photosynthesis, wherein the first electron donor is water. The electron comes from the bifurcation of water molecules or dissociation of water molecules, and oxygen is created as a waste product. Cytochrome B6F and ATP synthetase work together to create ATP. This process called photophosphorylation occurs in two different ways. In non-cyclic photophosphorylation, cytochrome B6F uses the energy of electrons from pigment system second to pump hydrogen ions from the lumen, an area of higher concentration, to the stroma, an area of lower concentration. The energy released by the hydrogen ion stream allows ATP synthetase to attach a third phosphate group to ADP, which forms ATP. This flow of hydrogen ion through ATP synthetase is called chemiosmosis because the ions moves from an area of high to an area of low concentration through a semi-permeable structure. In cyclic photophosphorylation, cytochrome B6F uses the energy of electrons from both pigment system second and pigment system first to create more ATP and to stop the production of NADPH. Cyclic photophosphorylation is important to maintain the right proportions of NADPH and ATP, which will carry out light independent reactions later on. The net reaction of all light dependent reactions in oxygenic photosynthesis is two water molecules are utilized, 2 NADPH plus 3 ADP and 3 inorganic phosphate, it is already present in chloroplast, are utilized for conversion of 1 oxygen molecule, 2 NADPH and 3 ATP molecules. Now these NADPH and ATPs are synthesized during cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation, are utilized for the conversion of atmospheric CO2 to carbohydrates during light independent reactions or dark reactions. Students, look at this picture. This is cyclic photophosphorylation. Why it is called cyclic photophosphorylation? Because the electrons released from the chlorophyll molecules excitate and release a few amount of energy through these different cytochrome systems and coming back to its original chlorophyll molecules. That's why this process is known as cyclic photophosphorylation. Now in cyclic photophosphorylation, pigment system first is only involved. Its reaction center is P700. Now students, what happens during daytime? The emission of rays by the sunlight, the number of rays are present in solar energy. Only visible light are used for the process of photosynthesis. And now the visible light means its range of light is 380 to 780 nanometer. And now pigment system first, its reaction center is 700, that means they absorb only 700 nanometer of light. Now this is occurs in the thylakoid portion of chloroplast. Now this absorbed light by the antenna complex transferred towards the core complex. Core complex is a small instrument. It is present in chloroplast and it is controlling 40 to 60 chlorophyll molecules. Now after absorption of radiant energy by antenna complex, this radiant energy taking to care core complex, and core complex decide one chlorophyll molecules, and each and every chlorophyll molecules outer orbit having two electrons, and now both electrons are moving opposite directions. Now one electrons taking this radiant energy, and now this electron moves from ground state to excitation state. That means taking lot of solar energy, radiant energy with us, and it moves, and it first accepted by primary electron acceptor, ferredoxine reducing substances, and now it moves towards the ferredoxine, then plastoquinone. In between ferredoxine and plastoquinone, few amount of energy released by these electrons, and now this release energy captured by ADP and inorganic phosphate, it is already present in thylakoid, and convert it into ATP, adenosine triphosphate, that means energy molecules. And now these energyless molecules moving from plastoquinone to cytochrome B6 and cytochrome F. Again in between, few amount of energy released by these electrons, it is captured by ADP and IP. Again it is converted into ATP. That means second ATP molecules are synthesized during non-cyclic cyclic photophosphorylation. And now this electron moves towards the plastocyanine and goes its original position. That's why this process is known as cyclic photophosphorylation. Now, in cyclic photophosphorylation, pigment system first is involved. Its reaction center is P700, and now two molecules of ATPs are synthesized during the cyclic photophosphorylation. See, this is the picture of cyclic photophosphorylation, colored photographs. Now this is the portion of stroma. This is the thylakoid lumen portion. The light energy absorbed by antenna complex by photosystem first. Its reaction center is 700. That means they absorb 700 nanometer of light. Then absorbed light transferred towards the chlorophyll molecules. Out of two chlorophyll molecules of outer orbit, one electrons taking this absorbed solar energy and moves towards the ferredoxine. Then it is transferred through this cytochrome system, cytochrome B6 and cytochrome F. In between, few amount of energy released, and it is converted into ATP. And now this energyless electrons moves towards plastocyanine, then its original position. Now this is the second process. It is known as non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Now in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, both pigment systems are involved. Pigment system second, its reaction center is P680, and pigment system first, its reaction center is P700. Now during non-cyclic photophosphorylation, breakdown of water molecule occurs. Now water molecules break down into protons, electrons, and one molecule of oxygen is released. Now this breakdown of oxygen molecule or water molecules, or breakdown of these water molecules, find out by Van Niel in 1941 in the process of photosynthesis. This oxidation of water molecules into protons, electrons, and oxygen. Now these released electrons from water molecules enter into this system, excite it moves from primary acceptors, pheophytin, and now side by side the light energy absorbed by this pigment system second, its reaction center is 680. That means they absorb 680 nanometer of light, And now this absorbed light by the antenna complex transferred towards the core complex. Then core complex decide one chlorophyll molecules. Each and every chlorophyll molecules having outer orbit 2 electrons. 1 electrons taking this absorbed radiant energy and it is again excited. Now one by one the electrons moving from pheophytin to plastoquinone and then cytochrome B6. In between plastoquinone and cytochrome B6, few amount of energy released by these excited electrons, and now this released energy is captured by ADP and inorganic phosphate. It is already present in chloroplast and now it is converted into ATP, adenosine triphosphate. The first ATP molecule synthesized during non-cyclic photophosphorylation, and now these energyless electrons moves from plastocyanine then reaction center first. Here is also the same process. The light absorbed by the antenna complex, that means 700 nanometer of light, transferred towards the core complex. Then core complex decide one chlorophyll molecules. 2 electrons are present in outer orbit of each and every chlorophyll molecules. 1 electron taking this radiant energy and goes excitation. It moves and accepted by primary electron acceptor, and now this primary electron acceptor transfer this electron towards the ferredoxine, and now in ferredoxine NADP is reduced into NADPH. That means synthesis of NADPH molecules. One NADPH molecule synthesized during non-cyclic photophosphorylation and one ATP molecules are synthesized during non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Both pigment systems are involved, pigment system first and pigment system second. The electrons moving from starting pigment system second and then it goes to reduce into NADPH. The electron is not moving back towards the pigment system second. That's why this process is known as non-cyclic photophosphorylation. See, this is the colored picture of non-cyclic photophosphorylation. This is the stroma portion where the actual carbon dioxide is converted into sugar or carbohydrates. The light energy absorbed by pigment system second. Now the electron is excited taking solar energy transferred towards the different cytochrome systems. In between plastoquinone and cytochrome B6, a few amount of energy is released. It is captured by ADP and IP and it is converted into ATP. One molecule of ATP is synthesized and now these energyless electrons moves towards the plastocyanine then pigment system first. Here the light absorbed by this antenna complex, 700 nanometer of light is absorbed and now the one molecule of chlorophyll outer orbit 2 electrons. 1 electron is excited taking this radiant energy and it moves towards the paradoxine and then it is reduced into NADP to NADPH. One molecule of NADPH and one molecule of ATP are synthesized during non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Are the differences between cyclic and non-cyclic photophosphorylation? Now, cyclic photophosphorylation, only pigment system first is involved. Its reaction center is P700, and in non-cyclic photophosphorylation, both photosystems first and photosystem second are involved. The photosystem first reaction center is 700 and photosystem second its reaction center is 680. P700 is the active reaction center for cyclic photophosphorylation and P680 is the active reaction center for non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Electrons travel in a cyclic manner because electrons moving from that chlorophyll molecules, they distribute this energy through the cytochrome systems and coming back to its own home. That's why this process is known as cyclic photophosphorylation. Electrons travel in a non-cyclic manner. It is not coming back towards the its original position. Electrons revert back to photosystem first. Electrons from photosystem first are accepted by NADP. NADP is reduced into NADPH. ATP molecules are produced. Two ATP molecules are produced during cyclic photophosphorylation. One NADPH and one ATP molecules are produced during non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Water is not required in cyclic photophosphorylation. Photolysis of water or breakdown of water molecules are required or in non-cyclic photophosphorylation. NADPH is not synthesized. NADPH is synthesized during non-cyclic photophosphorylation. Oxygen is not evolved as the byproduct because water molecule is not breakdown during cyclic photophosphorylation. In non-cyclic, oxygen is released because the water molecule is breakdown during this pigment system. Second, this process is predominant only in bacteria and non-cyclic is predominant in all green plants. Thank you.